spearheaded Black History Month in those intervening decades. And then lastly is Dr. Dorothy Autry. Dr. Autry really created, well, she chaired the Black History Month Committee on campus, and it really acted as an umbrella organization where Black History Month activities through different divisions on campus would be funneled through her office, and then they would create a master calendar and sort of act as a conduit to promote activities relative to Black History Month, not only on campus, but throughout the community. Okay? And so, there was an administration that that took over the institution, or the new president that took over the institution, and they had a different feeling, not only about Black History Month, but about the number of programs on campus generally. And so this new administration really cut down the number of programs that were celebrated during Black History Month, and really created difficulties for Dr. Autry and her committee to execute a vibrant and thriving Black History program. I would say that during the course of Black History Month, there were about 30 to 35 Black History Month related activities: theater, the arts, history, all of the various entities on campus coming together in various ways to celebrate Black History Month. And in the aftermath of the new president, there were about 2 or 3 Black History Month programs. And it really became poignant when I remember having a student come to me and complain, several students, that Alabama State did not take seriously Black History Month and did not have the types of programs that they thought would be expected at a historically Black college. And I felt sort of devastated because I knew how cutting edge and how aggressive Black History Month had been at Alabama State. And so I chair a committee, the Cultural Heritage Committee at the library, and I had these 2 ladies approach me about revitalizing Black History Month, and they'll take the story from here.
Okay, so I'm a part of, as a new librarian, in May I will have been a librarian at Alabama State for 2 years. As a new librarian, your first year, you're just trying to get in there and see what's what. But second year, I'm like, I'm at a HBCU and I'm not privy to anything going on for Black History Month. So I spoke with my colleague, Cassandra Cavness, and I asked her, do you know of anything going on for Black History Month? This might have been in September. This past September, she said no, and we looked at each other like this. So I went to the chair of the Cultural Heritage Committee that we all 3 are on that has been non-active, right? And proposed to Dr. Robinson, hey, if not us, then who? Let's do something. We have no money. It's September, but let's do something. And he said, okay, that didn't take too much convincing. So I thought that was a win. So I said, in addition to revitalizing the Cultural Heritage Committee, we would start doing something for Black History Month. We decided to meet on a weekly basis, and we decided that given the short month, we'll divide up the 4 weeks into 4 different themes, being Art Week, Food Week, Music Week, and Theater Week. So in addition to that, Valentine's Day falls in February, so we decided we could be a little corny and do something for Valentine's Day as well. So what worked out of the whole month was our Art Week, our Valentine's Day little celebration, our Food Week, and of course the collaboration that we took part in. What didn't work was our Movie Week, our Theater Week. Well, we didn't have a movie week. We showed 1 movie each week, our Theater Week and Music Week. And Cassandra will talk about our Art Week.
So the theme for this year's Black History Month was African Americans in Times of War. So I wanted to do an art exhibition, student-driven art exhibition. And so I came up with the title, Why We Fight African Americans at War. It did work. We did have the exhibition. However, we only ended up getting 2 submissions from students. So not as great as we wanted, not as great as much participation as we wanted, but we still wanted to highlight them. We did send out art calls. We did pop into their classrooms and encourage them. We worked with the art professors. They gave extra credit if they submitted work. However, still only 2 exhibition pieces. So you'll see here there's one on this side and one on that side. Those were the two pieces we got. Very different. But, you know, so we had this up for an entire week.
Oh, I'm up again. So for Valentine's Day date, this was really fun. This wasn't a part of our initial plan, so we didn't want to put too much into it. We wanted to make it relatively easy on ourselves. We came up with a pretty little flyer. We coordinated with the cafe that's located in the library, and they offered a free little drink. We put some candy up, some balloons, and we interviewed two couples, an older couple who met at ASU, and a younger couple who met at ASU, and we talked about the difference in dating then and now. Our art week was Mrs. Gilmore, a woman who put her foot in it Food Week, put her foot in it for freedom. This was a success. We just identified a local woman named Mrs. Georgia Gilmore who she cooked for the foot soldiers, the civil rights foot soldiers in Montgomery, Alabama, and generated funds for the Montgomery Bus boycott. We had local speakers come. They brought different photographs of Georgia Gilmore. We found two recipes. We chose to do the least economical recipe, which was her pound cake, and they all left with a recipe card with her pound cake recipe on it, so they also could go home and cook the pound cake that Dr. King ate.
So just real quick, because I know we got to wrap up here, but so we had movies each week, like we said. We made signs that stood in the lobby, so people would know what we were showing every week. We collaborated with professors. They would give a pre-talk before each movie to kind of set some context for the movie. Now, we did have classes come, but they would leave right as soon as the movies were, or their class time was over. So that didn't really work out well audience-wise for us. So looking forward, we're gonna start planning pretty much as soon as we get back. We're gonna start advertising and promoting, in October. We're gonna have more programs with a learning center focus. We had some that were just kind of fun to do this year because we were just, late in the game. And work with more collaboration with our faculty across campus, not just specific targeted departments.
Thank you.
Great.
It's in the tab.
Oh, right here?
No, right.
Oh. I brought a Mac, folks, so I'm in the foreign land with these PCs.
There you go.
Oh, excellent. I'll try to read, I promise around maybe 3 minutes, I'll actually show some stuff. But in the interest of the 10 minutes I've been afforded, I want to at least say that my name is Kermit Bailey. I'm an associate professor of graphic design at NC State University. The work that you're about to see, I was privileged to get access through a community-based project, and the analysis I'm trying to infer on it is part of some doctoral work also at NC State University in communication and rhetoric. So, anyway, let's sort of, without further ado, so move along. As a specific frame for rhetorical analysis, I consider 6 archival photographs taken in Chavis Park by 2 photographers. 2 images circa 1939 and 1950 are produced by Lemuel Delaney. 4 images circa 1958 are produced by James Archer. Both are African-American citizens in Raleigh during the era. These private citizen photographs are now collectively part of the South Park Community Archives initiatives. The images presented are not technically perfect. However, we can infer both the photographers had reasonable technological means for the era. As an overarching cohesion, the 6 photographs analyzed symbolize 2 distinct but connected themes as narratives: progress and mobility. People, places, and artifacts. Photographically captured is a sense of hope for separate but equal recreational amenities amidst the burgeoning but still nascent Raleigh landscape. making the case for rhetorical analysis, the part of the larger project, which I don't have time to get into today, basically sort of steps back and tries to look at the production techniques of the era. And so the social context which culturally situates the 6 photographs. The reproduction, separating out as the interrogation of the image and asking what this visual story includes as well as excludes, and the rhetorical circulation. And so I'm looking at just in the larger project, the audience reception over time and how 30, 40, 50 years later, that's sort of recirculated into public discourse. So a little bit about Dr. Lemuel Delaney. Dr. Delaney's contribution to the South Park East Raleigh Historical Archives was given to me, or given to Spurn, I should say, by his granddaughter. Of about 4 photographs total are part of the legacy artifacts of a prominent Raleigh family. 2 of the 4 are featured in this presentation for rhetorical analysis. When juxtaposed side by side, they provide a window into Delaney's ideological position as well as his camera's position. We know from archival records and interviews that Delaney's social standing in the community was of such a nature that he hosted at his home dignitaries of the day, such as W.E. Du Bois. As told by his sisters in their book, Having Our Say, Dr. Du Bois always stayed with my brother, Lemuel, speaking of the photographer, and his wife when he visited Raleigh. In some contrast, she goes on to state, these are the sisters, stating in their book, that